Light Transitions Radio is a dialogue about personal and planetary change. Acknowledging that we are all at unique points on a continuum of change, Light Transitions Radio seeks out innovators and creators, engages them in spontaneous and deep dialogues, and shares these conversations with the world. Light Transitions Radio's mission is to help individuals and communities achieve positive transformation. Aloha, everyone, and welcome to Light Transitions Radio. My name is Robert Davis, and I'd like to thank you for joining us today. We're very, very honored to welcome Lilou Macé to Light Transitions Radio. Welcome and aloha, Lilou.
Aloha, Robert.
And before we get started, I want to bring our listeners up to date with the pathway of Lilou. She is an entrepreneur, an inspirational author, and web sensation. Her first venture was starting her own internet marketing company, and since then she's gone on to write books, start her own publishing company, travel the globe interviewing New York Times bestselling authors, and meet some really inspiring people along the way. She's also co-founder of an online community called Co-Creating Our Reality, a 100-day reality challenge. As of 2011, the community has 7,000 plus members in 140 countries worldwide. Initially inspired by Oprah, she began producing her own inspirational TV show in November of 2006, originally called My Juicy Life, and later titled Live a Juicy Life. The show follows her as she interviews the authors of motivational, spiritual, and self-help books, a practice she still continues on her YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Lilou Macé. As of September 2011, she has over 10 million viewers on YouTube, has conducted 700 plus interviews, and is one of the fastest growing web TV hosts globally. Her videos are translated into many languages for viewers around the globe. Her vision is to develop and expand web TV programs in all of the main languages and countries around the world. Her mission is to create and host an international communication network to inspire, motivate, and empower millions of people to pursue their dreams and to help spread joy, freedom, and personal awakening. She resides on the road as she is currently traveling and interviewing authors and spiritual teachers for the Juicy Living Tour. To learn more about the tour and to check out interviews with some of the world's most inspiring people, go to www.juicylivingtour.com. And for latest updates, visit her website, www.liloumacé.com, or log on to Facebook and catch up with her there. www.facebook.com/Lilou Macé Web TV. Well, you're very, very, very busy, it seems. And it comes to mind, as far as this busyness, what was one or more of the catalytic events in your life, Lilou, to move you to this pathway of seeking out inspirational sources and individuals and sharing those with the world?
Yeah. What a great introduction. Thank you, by the way. There's been quite a few things that have happened that led me to do what I'm doing right now, and those have been, for most of them, failures. I had 3 major failures that, what would be qualified as failure in the old world. And one was when I finished my studies, business studies over in France and England, in Oxford. I couldn't find a job. I was just down. I got into a major a fight with my parents, and they were the wrong ones and this and that. So I literally escaped and decided to go to the U.S. since I had dual citizenship, the French one and the American one. So I moved to Florida, and I decided to start again my life there. But I had the same problem, the same recurring problem. I would not make it to interviews, and nobody would hire me, and I wouldn't understand what was going on because there's so much fire and so much passion inside of me. I didn't get it, and so that led me to do my first personal development seminar because I had become so miserable I couldn't understand that one of my old boss stepped in and told me about one of them, and I signed up, and that hugely opened my world. From there, I've been very, very curious and wanting to improve and grow and heal and expand, and that's the beginning of the journey of my spiritual journey or path since January 2001. Another huge step was when I, after moving to Chicago, and as you said in the introduction, I was really inspired by Oprah Winfrey. I started a local TV show there, not having any experience in interviewing people or any of that. And then just something didn't quite feel right anymore. I had my online business for 8 years, and so I moved to London. I wanted to reconnect with Europe after 8 years being in the U.S. And 7 months after that, I lost my job. And that was really the second thing that really woke me up, because losing that job, and then I wrote a book, I Lost My Job and I Liked It, because that was really the pivotal moment. And it was a hard time that I went through, because I just could not pretend any longer that this passion to make a difference and interview people was inexistent, or I just couldn't continue my life as it was, basically. And so I losing my job was a very humbling moment, but at the same time it opened this whole Juicy tour and fully doing 100% the video interviews as I do now. Another big one, another failure, what seemed as a failure, was not going any further in the audition of the Oprah Winfrey Network. Then I wanted to be one of the hosts on the Oprah Winfrey Network, and I moved to Chicago for 5 months to be part of the adventure, and I was sure that it would lead somewhere. I had already millions of views, and nothing turned out. So again, another seemingly failure that led me to really see the vision of the Juicy Living Tour, which is what I'm doing right now, and I've never felt so fulfilled in my life. So those were 3 big milestones that made me understand that and see what my essence was about, what my soul wanted to do on this journey. And each time it liberated part of my potential to, I could say right now, living 100% a juicy life, 100% the life I was meant to live.
That's music to, I believe, many individuals' ears. And I also want to say, viva la failure. Viva la failure.
Yeah.
So often, as you know, failure begets something much greater. And in your instance, it sounds like it was a continuum of building and almost a distilling process for you to finally come home to yourself fully, and to really honor that. Were you gaining trust? Were you gaining trust through this process? And each of these experiences, did they become a little easier for you to navigate as you experienced them?
Yeah. Each of them has been easier and easier, as in each of them there was some healing that took place, that had to take place. And to now, I really feel that whatever comes along is an opportunity. So I judge less of what is being presented to me as negative or positive, but I more try to be in a space of gratitude for whatever is arising, knowing that life has a lot more information than I do about a situation. And I see, most of all, I see now the universe as a friendly place, as life is supporting me so I can fully develop my potential. I can fully give of myself, of my essence, and play my music.
And so much of that has a resounding note of freedom to it, because it's about individual freedom and boundlessness, of which our true nature is supported. And to come to that knowing is truly understanding a dharma or purpose. And congratulations again on floating through that process and coming to that acknowledgement, and then also sharing it with others, particularly at this point in time. It's so wonderful to see your work and how you've been able to embrace such a planetary flow of energy on behalf of so many different individuals. And I contacted you based on just the last interview that I witnessed of Wayne Dyer, and I was so touched by his transformation through time, because to me it felt as though it was really heralding not only his change at this point, but the whole planetary change that's occurring at a very heartful level. And I was just curious how it felt in the room with him while he was explaining his process.
Just a lot of love, as you probably felt through the interview, authenticity, and I felt leadership and commitment and greatness. I felt the highest. It's like touching when a person is authentic about their journey. It's like you get a glimpse of God, energy. You get a glimpse of the universe, and it's so wonderful that he's being a channel for that. And I really honor his path, because he has really been there. Now he's 71 years old, and he's still there pioneering and speaking out his truth. Because he's really speaking out to a whole new level now. He's speaking about his healing experiences through John of God, and it's really, really the next level of sharing. And he's right there at the right time, and that's the important thing. Is I don't think for him that's an intellectual process. He really does share authentically, and that's why it's so important for all of us to share authentically our path unconditionally. Because then you're always at the right time, in sync with what needs to be shared in that moment. A lot of people can then recognize it. It helps other people to liberate their own stories and to connect on a deeper level and to open up their journey. So it's really, really wonderful. And being in the room with him and just how it all happened. It was on my last day in Hawaii that I've interviewed him. He lives on Maui. He's in one of the resorts there. He has an apartment on the beach, and I had just interviewed his daughter, and I didn't really want to ask his daughter to do an interview with him because I knew he was very and highly asked, and so I just let it go really to the angels, the guides. I said, if I'm supposed to interview him, make it happen, because I don't know how, and this is bigger. And the next thing you know is I receive a text from his daughter saying, my dad is saying if you want to interview him, you're welcome to come in 15 minutes. So I was just open door, and here's Wayne Dyer showing up with his big blue eyes and his voice as we know it, and just hearing that was just fantastic. Yeah. And in the room, his son was also there, Sam, listening, and I was just, it was like any interview, and because you interview people, it's like this, you're kind of in their world, you're in their universe, and yet it's the same universe we're all sharing. So you feel this expansion and the blessing of hearing one's journey so authentically spoken. So it's wonderful. It's transforming, because it's a lot of energies, and you're I was in his aura, I was in his field too. So it's a lot more than words. It happens, and hopefully that came through the interview, where it's just way beyond words, I think, when we listen to one of them.
It did come through the interview, and it was highly resonant, again, as a reflection of where we're going as a planetary culture, with, let's call it, a planetary aloha, where we actually tap that sacred space at a collective, often termed the noosphere, and so forth. But to see him step into that space was actually a catalytic event for me and other people I shared the video with. As you had mentioned, it was transferred through the medium quite well. And it really is a harbinger that's activated. And I'm curious, in your travels and interviewing so many different people, I would assume that you're getting a higher resonance of that frequency that's coming through. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, each interview adds up. It's like a puzzle, and I think it's not just for me; it's for everybody watching and following the tour unfold. It's like this big puzzle coming together, and just amazing energies coming in. I'm definitely vibrating at a whole other frequency, definitely the frequency of love now, and fear is less and less present. There's just no more room for that because of the space of the light. Light is taking more and more space, and it's wonderful. I have so much gratitude for it, because I had definitely a closed heart until pretty much 2009. So now to be able to welcome that in, just amazing energies are coming in now. So it's just, however, how much you want to take on. And I often say to myself, bring it on. I'm ready. I'm catching up to my expansion. But what I wanted to also share with you is that it's through this interview with Wayne Dyer, then he talked about this interview about Anita and near-death experience.
Yes.
And that led me to interview her over Skype. She had an amazing near-death experience story, which then he posted that video, Skype video, on his Facebook wall that has 500,000 people, fans on there, which then Anita's story is even more powerful than Wayne Dyer's. I know I shouldn't rank it, but it's really so. She had less than 36 hours to live, and she saw the light. She experienced the light. She experienced this near-death experience. That she had the choice to come back, and within 4 days was nearly cleared of all the cancer cells, and is now living 6 years later, and remembers and shares all what happened for her in that moment. And those are powerful stories to share. And I know it's the case for many people, because then that video was shared by 14,000 people on Facebook. So 14,000 other people posted it throughout their Facebook wall, if not more by now.
Yes.
So one thing leads to the next, and I think that's the key lesson. Once we allow ourselves and trust the energy and the process and life, then one thing after that will show up in another and another and another. It's just following the next inspired action and really trusting and going with that flow is absolutely beyond what our mind could create.
Yes, and it opens up our heart and allows that to be our guiding light. And in that action, we are able to touch many, and many are then allowed to touch us.
Yeah.
On your mission of creating an international communication network, where are you on that particular program?
The videos are translated by volunteers in different languages, mainly right now in French and in Japanese and some in Spanish. But really, where I'm at right now is at this not turning point, but just amplifying everything that I'm doing to the point where team is going to come in, structure to support many web TVs in many languages in many countries, allowing all the information and the suggestions from people from all around the world too, so that we can all create this together. And what's really exciting for me is to have one interview that is shared at some point next year. I want to, in many languages, within hopefully 24 hours, 36 hours, so that it really is just unbelievable to me to see how easy it can be to share this information now with the world, and really, really fast through the internet. So it is in the process. I'm having some meeting this week. I had the chance to meet some amazing Indian people over in Toronto a month ago that totally got the vision and what I was up to, that want to support the project and put some structures in place. So it's just in creation, and instead of setting up goals and deadlines and this and that, I don't work anymore like that. I just know that everything is perfectly in order, and that the right people will show at the right time, and the inspired action and idea will show up, and this and that. So that's why I'm busy, but at the same time I'm very relaxed, more relaxed than I've ever been. Since I'm trusting, I'm not anymore just setting the goals and the this and that are very much, I feel sometimes it shrink us instead of expand us, or at least for me, I can speak for myself. And so I'm doing a lot of things, but they're all really, because I do it as they show up, and I create enough space to respond to them fast. And so I think we need to allow that kind of space more and more in our lives now, because time is speeding up, but it's not speeding up in the same way that we think it's speeding up. It's not like we're losing touch of our time and not feeling we can do enough in a day. I feel I can do all of it in a day, and more things that I'm supposed to do. So actually maybe sometimes I do less, but it has a bigger impact or a more effective repercussion.
You're working from an efficiency, basically a very, very clear light efficiency, which is, I think, representative of what you said earlier, that you are functioning at a high level, let's say at 100% of your Dharma, which is, again, such a beautiful space to exist in and trust in and mirror for so many people, because that is our true nature, is to exist in that space. And again, blessings on your modeling for that for so many.
Thank you. And I would like to add that, each of us have our own mission and Dharma. And when we're on it, it's as fulfilling no matter what it looks like outside. It doesn't matter then. It's unconditional. For me, it was part of my Dharma to have exposure and to expose other people, which kind of may seem more glamour for some people than others. But it's not. It's really as soon as we are doing and living from the heart, it doesn't matter what we do, and it's not a numbers game either. It's just that it's what you're supposed to do, and whether it's a teacher, it's a fireman, it's an author, it's whatever it is. It's all, as long as we're doing it with the heart and being present, it has as much impact.
Yes.
And that's important, because we all need to play our song now. It is time, and it takes courage. It took me a lot of courage to step in this, and still a lot, and it's fantastic. We have to get out of our comfort zone, and we have to follow this voice that tells us to do this, and to have the courage to step beyond how we were raised, how we were taught, how the governments and the big media and everything is telling us how to behave. It's none of that now is current. We have to step in fully in our own power and authentic power, as Gary Zukav would say.
Yes, yes. Well, our authentic self is called forth now, and I think in having representative examples and being able to share the information that you're able to share is a freeing experience for so many people, and it's just a beautiful thing that you have stepped into that role and handled it so eloquently. In the communication systems that you see unfolding and your goals, is there anything else that you're working on besides that particular program of bringing a global system of communications together?
That's really, I feel, at the core of everything. But I am going to publish my second book called "I Had No Money and I Liked It: The Abundant Journey of an Open Heart." That's going to be published this fall.
Yeah.
Through my own publishing company, and I'm now also publishing authors that I believe their message is needed right now on the planet. Definitely, I want to create events. The big one is continuing on the Juicy Living Tour for me next year throughout Europe. I feel there's a lot going on in Europe. We're seeing it right now in the news, but the problem is deeper than that. It's deeper than the money and the economy, and I think there is a lot of healing that needs to occur there, and that will have an impact on the entire world. So I'm doing a 12-month tour throughout Europe of interviews, 1 month in each country next year. And all of this, we'll see how it unfolds. These are big projects, and at the same time, to this day, I do not have exactly a clear outline or know what's next and what this. I have an idea of it. I can feel it. I can see it coming, and the right actors are coming. But it's important to stay, I think, and visualize what we what we see and we feel in our heart is needed, and then the rest will show up. And as it shows up, then we create it and we fully present to it, and we continue to inject it with the vision and the love, and it continues to unfold in due time. So the big one, really, to answer your question, is that international network. That's really, but the big one is really being present. Day by day. That's really what it is. It's just day by day being present and showing up and just really giving it all. It all while respecting and not protecting, but just being surrounded by open hearts and give to people that truly want to receive and give to. And I just want reciprocity. I want unity. I want to be surrounded by beautiful souls, and that are ready, that are authentically ready, and that are living it. Because we need to surround ourselves by powerful forces too.
There are more and more coming forth every day, every day, and that's really the magic of being in the moment and being able to have a connection with someone and see the twinkle in the eye and the knowing and that instant reciprocity, whereby that connection just in its own right is beautiful, but the fact that it's recognized as something greater is really the motivation for us to continue. And it is a magical time. If there was something that you would like to summarize or close with in this particular interview, what would it be, Lilou?
I would just say do it and live it fully, and let's trust. It's time to trust, and it's time to open ourselves up and follow our heart and be authentic. And I would say don't be afraid to share your authentic self and be vulnerable and do what it takes, even if it's not very easy to go through and at first, and it requires some healing. Just do it, move towards that, because there's going to be just at some point just a major opening of light, and you'll feel it in your heart, you'll know it, and you'll be every day marinating in it, and it's so wonderful. I want to encourage everybody to live authentically, because then we help each other. We all need each other right now. We're all of us is doing this, and it's such a blessing to know that we showed up on this planet at this time.
I love the concept of marinating in it. That feels very, very appropriate, and I'm very honored for your appearance at this point in time, Lilou, and your catalytic efforts that are instrumental and have been instrumental in uniting an informational matrix that supports the change which we're all afloat in at the present time. So I would like to thank Lilou Mace for joining us today. And for more information on Lilou and her work, please visit the www.juicylivingtour.com or www.liloumace.com, or on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Lilou Mace Web TV. We'll have links and others pertaining to today's show on our website, lighttransitionsradio.com. If you'd like to comment on today's show, please visit our website or email us at comment@lighttransitionsradio.com. And again, Lilou, thank you so very, very much for carrying the light at this point in time, and best blessings on your journey.
Thank you, Robert, for being such a clear channel too, and being so giving and clear, and you're a wonderful interviewer. So enjoy this moment. Thank you.
All right. Blessings.
Blessings.